Hi everyone, I'm Hannah and this is my self-reflection project. So, I've lived my entire life in Louisville, North Carolina, and it's pretty much part of Winston-Salem, and I've loved living there and growing up there. I am currently a sophomore nutrition major here at App, and I've always enjoyed cooking and experimenting with new foods and just trying to create new recipes. And I'd love to end up as a clinical pediatric dietitian working with premature babies in the NICU, and I just really hope that I can end up there one day. And lastly, I am an avid dog lover, and if you look right above me, that's my sweet little beagle Beatrice. So when I took the self-assessment test, I wasn't really surprised by any of the answers. There was one that I didn't really agree with, but otherwise I pretty much fit the bill for all the other ones. So for open-mindedness, I got that I am somewhat conventional, I'm not super creative, and I agree with that because I know sometimes when I try and come up with like an alternative solution, I can almost get like creativity block and I'm not really great at that sort of stuff. So I wasn't really surprised by that result. Next, for conscientiousness, this was not a surprise to me. It said that I was very well organized and that I could be relied upon, and I 100% agree with that. I love to stay organized just so I can keep my life on track, and I feel that others can see the hard work that I put into my work and getting it done in a timely manner and know that they can just rely on me to get my stuff done. For extroversion, I got kind of in the middle, so I'm not super outgoing but super reserved, and I agree with that for the most part. Like, depending on the situation, I can be really talkative, I can be kind of closed off. It just depends on the person for me, so I agree that I can go one way or the other. For agreeableness, this is the only one that I didn't really agree with wholeheartedly. It said that I am neither extremely forgiving nor irritable, and I agree with the irritable part. I'm not really a critical person, like harsh, rude, cold, but I think I'm more like warm-hearted and opening, sympathetic to other people than it gives me credit for. So that's the only part that I'm not really in agreement with, but I I sort of get the fact that in the middle, like catch me on a bad day, I can just be kind of like shut off, just not really loving or like rude to you, just kind of there. So I agree with that a little bit. And lastly, for negative emotionality, this one didn't surprise me at all either. It said I become really anxious or nervous, and that's a fact for me. That's just how I live my life. I know I can get really wound up and just get worked up over little things, so I definitely agree with the score I got for that. For perception, I know that I perceive myself as fairly open-minded. Like I said before, I don't like to jump to conclusions about people, and I also view myself as shy. Like around new people, I'm not always like gonna come up and tell you my whole life story. I'm like slow to warm up. I also perceive myself as loving, like welcoming, organized, and I try and be courteous to everyone I meet, just give them the respect that they deserve. And other people perceive me as intelligent, friendly, and welcoming, just like warm to them. They can see me as dramatic, which I mean, I don't disagree with, but that's just part of who I am. They also perceive me as a caregiver and a problem solver, and I agree with most all those. So some key life experience that I've had that helped strengthen my leadership skills. First off, I've been a lead chemistry tutor for about a year now, and I have enjoyed this job a bunch. It's taught me valuable leadership skills because I feel as though I'm responsible for these students' success. Like they're gaining knowledge to help them pass this class and learn and understand the material in a way they might not have in the classroom. So I've learned the power of positive reinforcement, and I really think this can suit me in any sort of leadership or managerial role that I assume later in life. So I just like to encourage them to do their best. And if one of the students finally understands something and they can do the problem from start to finish on their own, it's like, hey, that is awesome. Keep practicing, keep getting them right. Like, good for you. And I hope that that helps them to want to learn and want to succeed. The next thing is setting a positive example for work ethic. So I always try and come in with my materials ready, all the work done, and I put in a lot of effort to make a good worksheet for my tutoring sessions. And I hope that this will just show students that if you put in hard work, it can pay off, and maybe they can one day get to where I am and help other students. But I know in a managerial position, this will help because a manager who is lazy and doesn't work hard isn't going to motivate their employees to work hard. So I know that if I'm a manager one day, if I come into work each day prepared, working hard, then it should motivate my employees to hopefully put the same work ethic in. And lastly, I've learned how to be versatile in the way I explain topics. So everybody learns differently, they have different personality styles. So this can apply to tutoring, so the different learning styles, but it can also apply to in a workplace. There's different personality. So everybody learns a little bit different, and being able to just explain the same topic in different ways so that everybody can explain or can understand it is a really important concept, I think, and just being versatile and able to switch up so that everybody can benefit in the same way. So next, I was an office assistant at a local heating and air company, and I learned some valuable, just flat out rules that I feel can pertain to any workplace. So the first one was being able to ease frustrated customers. And in heating and air company, you don't always get the time you want to be serviced. So sometimes customers get angry, and being able to just talk to them and calm them down and have a soothing personality to you is just important, because if I end up as a manager one day, there may be clients or employees who argue and quarrel, and just being able to calm them down so everybody just gets along and meshes is important. Next is strengthening my organization skills. So I had to do a lot of filing, data work, and that's something that'll pertain to any job I'm in. So especially if I'm just an employee or I'm a manager, sometimes managers step in and just help get the little things done. So being able to do that and just keep the business clean and organized and run smoothly is important. So lastly, lifting up employee morale was something I learned that was key. So in that office building, it's not a very exciting job, so it's hard to stay positive and just keep working hard because everybody gets run down by 5 o'clock. So being able to come in and just be a sunshiny personality helps people to want to work harder, because I feel like you can be more productive and do better work when you're in a more positive mood than it is if you're just sitting there ready to leave. So a plan of action I want to keep up some of my strengths. So like keeping everything organized and being a reliable person for others is something that I never want to lose, because I feel like it'll be beneficial for me in any job that I hold. Next, like I said earlier, being able to understand other people's point of view and like not jumping to conclusions about them is something I value, because I don't jump straight to judging others. And I feel that bringing that into a workplace, if you automatically judge others, just creates a really toxic environment. So I hope I never start jumping to conclusions and just being really judgy of others. Some improvements I need to work on are definitely communication with new people. So I'm not big on like just jumping out and initiating conversation with people I don't know, and it's just not something I'm strong with. And I feel that one day I hope to improve it, and just the more I force myself to do it, maybe the better I'll get at it. And lastly, not stressing about the little things. So, like I said, I just get all wound up and really anxious about every little thing. So, I just need to learn how to not stress about everything, because some things are out of my control and I just need to learn to be okay with that. So, one of my short-term plans is that I can just keep staying organized and keep being reliable with my schoolwork, and hopefully I can graduate with a really high GPA and get matched with a good grad school program. And lastly, one thing I can improve on is with communication, just reaching out and forming relationships with nutrition program faculty, because they might be a good connection in the future, or I may be able to do research with them. But the first step is me reaching out and actually communicating with it. So long-term plan is, once I'm in RD, I want my coworkers to feel as though they can rely on me to get things done well and get them done on time. And that just goes with my organization, because, it's hard to stay on top of jobs if you're just disorganized and chaotic. And lastly, I need to learn how to work with others to get a job done and promote that teamwork instead of trying to complete everything on my own, because I know I can just be a perfectionist and want to just do it myself to get it done right. So, in conclusion, some key takeaways I learned from this class were strong qualities a manager should have, such as honesty, they should be encouraging, they should be a good communicator, and just be knowledgeable about the business. And also, I learned the hard work it takes to create a successful business, because especially for food service, there's a lot of little things I didn't know about that go into making the production run smoothly. Some of the most helpful activities I found from this class: one was using the Six Sigma to determine the cause and effect of issues. I didn't realize how many little things like that businesses use, but it can help identify those problem areas and just try and create it so they don't happen again. And the most helpful activity, in my opinion, is when we wrote our personal statements. So I liked what Dr. Moore said about us who are nutrition majors. This is going to help us when we apply for grad programs, and just the more practice we have with writing something like this, the more it helps set us apart and hopefully get matched with a good program. And that is all I have for you today.